2. May, 65. Dearest Suzie, how are you and the boys getting along? I hope that you all are getting along okay and enjoying your good long vacation from the old man. I'm anxiously awaiting that picture of Brett, and I still want one of you too. We worked today. Well, we didn't really work. We went out and flew in circles covering some Navy planes on a bombing run. It was quite a sight to see those jets dropping their 500-pound bombs all over the place. Jim Church called me tonight, and I talked to him for a while. He and his family are fine. I also talked to Bill Lowie for a few minutes. He told me that Sam Parker was supposed to come with them, but he was taken off orders at last minute because of his teeth, but he will be over later. They are all going to shift them all around within the next couple of weeks, just like they did with us when we came over, so some of them might get up to Vin Long. I suppose you've heard by now that we don't have to pay taxes anymore, and we will get back all the money that we have paid since we got over here. That adds up to quite a bit. I haven't been into town since payday. I'm going to try and get in tomorrow night. There's nothing nice in our PX, so if you don't get a Mother's Day present by Mother's Day, don't worry. I will have you something on the way. Well, I know you wouldn't worry about it, but at least now you know that I haven't forgotten and I am thinking of you. I still haven't heard from Minnie. How is she getting along now? I haven't seen Sandy yet either. Kiss the boys for me and tell them that I miss them. And you take care of yourself and just remember that I love you and miss you very much. I think of you all constantly. All my love. Bill. P.S. I'm throwing in some slides of Charlie. Thought the boys might enjoy them. Bill. In today's letter, Popi doesn't talk about combat or chaos. He doesn't talk about trauma or grief. He talks about circles. Specifically, flying in them. On May 2nd, he flew cover for a Navy bombing run. He describes it with quiet awe. Flying in lazy loops while jets dropped 500-pound bombs all over the place. Quite a sight, he calls it. I imagine the sound of the explosions, the sharp contrast between his hovering Huey and the thunder of jets streaking overhead. Fire and smoke below. And that simple description opens the door to something larger. The complicated relationship between the different branches of the U.S. military during the Vietnam War. Popi, an Army pilot, would have been flying low and slow, providing overwatch and support while faster, more heavily armed Navy aircraft carried out precision bombing. At that point in 1965, the Navy had several aircraft capable of dropping 500-pound bombs. The A-1 Skyraider was one of the most widely used. It was old-fashioned by jet age standards, propeller-driven, single-seater, but incredibly reliable. It could loiter over a target longer than any jet, making it perfect for close air support. Then there was the A-3 Skywarrior, a much heavier attack aircraft, and the A-6 Intruder, a sleek, all-weather bomber built for low-level night attacks. Any of these could have been part of the mission Popi was covering that day. But what's interesting to me here isn't just the firepower, it's the collaboration. Hueys from the Army flying beneath Navy jets, coordinated fire support in a war that demanded it but didn't always deliver. Because while all branches of the military were technically on the same side, the Vietnam War laid bare just how difficult it was to fight a joint war. Each branch had its own goals, its own command structure, its own strategic playbook. The Army prioritized mobility and control of the countryside. The Navy focused on offshore bombardment and aviation support. The Air Force wanted to win the war from the sky. And the Marines, often functioning as their own hybrid force, tended to do whatever was required, wherever they were needed. In theory, they worked together. In practice, they often competed over equipment, mission control, and tactical vision. For soldiers and pilots like Popi, it meant living inside a constantly shifting, sometimes confusing battlefield where the rules weren't always clear, and your closest support might belong to a different chain of command entirely. And yet, there he was, flying in circles, doing his part, watching jets do theirs. No drama, no fanfare, just a quiet account of a mission where nothing went wrong. Meanwhile, just 3 days before, he was asking armored personnel carriers to help him find a dead soldier. The rest of the letter is typical. Popi mentions friends like Jim Church and Bill Lowie, questions Suzie's relatives, and makes a quick financial note about taxes being refunded. He also makes a reminder that he hasn't forgotten Mother's Day. And at the very end, he provides a small gift. A few slides of Charlie, tossed in with the letter for the boys to enjoy. But the brief moment with the Navy jets lingers around because it reminds us that Popi's experience wasn't isolated. It was deeply entangled with the broader machinery of war, machinery that spanned oceans and branches, strategies and egos, personalities and policies. He might have only seen one piece of it, but he helped make the whole thing move. The photo I chose for today shows a few islands in the ocean from the air. Though Popi doesn't say where he was supporting the jets, perhaps it was on the coast. It was with the Navy, after all. I'm Alex Lowie, and I hope you have enjoyed listening to this episode of Dearest Suzie, and receiving messages from the past that my Popi wrote exactly 60 years ago. I sincerely appreciate your time and interest. Please consider following the podcast on your preferred platform, and if you're enjoying it, I kindly ask that you take the time to rate the show and leave a review. Also, please follow the project on YouTube, X, and Instagram. All likes, comments, shares, and reviews will help grow the reach of this story. The links for these things should be in the description of this episode. Please feel free to email me at dearestsuziepodcast@gmail.com if you have anything you'd like to say. I'd love to chat or to hear about your stories as well. Thank you for listening, and God bless.